Okay, picture this. It's midnight, you're out of coffee, and that deadline is just breathing down your neck. You've got two options. On one side, this huge stack of journals you still have to read. On the other, a browser tab wide open with an AI tool that could spit out a perfect paragraph in, 5 seconds? Let's be real, the temptation is massive. So let's just dive right into this because we're talking about a huge intersection of AI, ethics, and your academic integrity. And this isn't just about tech, it's about a whole new kind of literacy that's going to define who succeeds no matter what your major is. We've all been there, right? That exact moment of pressure where you have to make a really tough call. It's the classic student problem, but now there's this incredibly powerful new twist in the story. And this is it, right here. The choice is crystal clear. The old school path of grinding through research versus the instant gratification that AI offers. And it's right here at this single decision point where this whole conversation about ethics and integrity really kicks off. Now, when you hear the term AI literacy, what pops into your head? Probably something about being a wizard at writing prompts or knowing all the latest tools, right? But the sources we've been digging into show that's not even half the story. A much more complete definition looks something like this. See, AI literacy isn't just about using AI. It's about understanding it, being able to evaluate what it gives you, and, this is the most important part, engaging with it ethically. That last word, that's the real game changer. So the way experts are breaking this down now is into 4 parts. You got your technical skills, knowing how to understand, use, and create with it. But look at that 4th pillar, ethics. It's not some afterthought or a little side note. It's being treated as a core part of the foundation, every bit as important as being able to use the tech itself. And hey, this isn't just some abstract theory. This is exactly how top-tier institutions like MIT are tackling it. They're pushing this humanistic perspective. They're not just teaching students how to code AI, they're teaching them how to ask the hard questions about its impact on society. In other words, it's not just about the machine anymore. It's about how that machine is fundamentally changing the way we live and think. So if ethics is really the foundation, let's put it to the test against one of the oldest problems in school, plagiarism. This is where you can really see the two-faced nature of AI. To really get this, we have to look at what was happening before AI exploded onto the scene. A really honest study from several Indonesian universities found that a copy-paste culture was already a known problem for getting assignments done faster. The study actually calls this illiterate behavior, not because students can't read, but because that core process of actually understanding, processing, and then creating your own original thoughts just wasn't happening. And the stakes here are unbelievably high. I mean, the source material gives this gut punch of an example, a student whose graduation got put on hold because their entire thesis was plagiarized. A whole thesis. That just goes to show you how serious academic integrity was, even before we all had generative AI in our pockets. So now you throw generative AI into this world where that copy-paste culture already exists. What happens? Does it act like gasoline poured on a fire, making the shortcuts easier and way harder to catch? Or could it somehow become part of the solution? A fire extinguisher? And that question leads us right to the practical stuff, drawing the line. Where exactly is that boundary between using AI as a legitimate ethical tool and just using it as a high-tech plagiarism machine? The whole thing really boils down to this simple but super powerful idea called author ethics. And the principle is this: who is doing the actual thinking? Who really owns the ideas? If the core brain work is coming from you, you're probably on the right track. Let's think about it like this. Are you a discussion partner, or are you just a machine operator? Asking AI, hey, can you give me 3 arguments against this theory? That makes it a research assistant. You're still the one driving. But commanding it, write me a 500-word essay about the weaknesses of this theory? Well, you just handed over the intellectual pen. You're not the author anymore. You're just operating a machine. So yeah, it's pretty clear this isn't just about passing a class or getting a thesis done. These habits, this whole way of thinking, it's absolutely going to follow you straight into your professional career. And you might be sitting there thinking, okay, but will my future boss really care if an AI polished my report? And the answer is yes, they are going to care, a lot, but maybe not in the way you'd expect. So check out this real-world case study. A company uses AI to screen thousands of resumes. Simple enough. But the AI was trained on decades of old hiring data where, most of the managers were men. The AI has no idea it's being sexist. It's just spotting a pattern in the data it was fed. And the result? It starts pushing male applicants to the top of the pile, which leads to unfair and, frankly, illegal hiring decisions. A professional who gets this stuff, who has that ethical awareness, doesn't just click accept. They ask why. And this right here is the absolute key for your career. The job market is about to be flooded with people who know how to use AI. That's just going to be the baseline. The thing that will make you valuable, maybe even irreplaceable, is the ability to critically question what the AI spits out, to see the ethical blind spots, and to act with integrity. That's the difference between an operator and a strategist. So, as we start to wrap this all up, you can see how we've gone from a simple choice on a student's desk all the way to the huge, complex ethical puzzles of the modern workplace. We've basically established that ethics isn't just a nice to have, it is the absolute heart of AI literacy. And we've seen how the habits you're forming right now, whether you're choosing to be an operator or an author, are going to directly shape your value in your future career. And all of this leaves us with some really deep questions to chew on. As AI gets so good that its work is basically indistinguishable from a human's, what does the word originality even mean anymore? When you and an AI collaborate to create something truly brilliant, who deserves the praise? Is it you or is it the code? And maybe the most important question of all, the one that's a little more personal. As you lean more and more on these incredibly powerful tools, where do you draw that fine line between powerful collaboration and slowly losing the very thing that makes your creative voice uniquely yours? That's a question only you can answer.